All right, welcome to yoga, everyone. Today we are going to be using yoga blocks. I've just got some foam ones, cork ones are great. If you don't have blocks for some of the things we're doing, you can get creative. A couple of old phone books. I know nobody has phone books anymore, but something like that. Feel free to get creative, or maybe even just uh, rolling up some towels or something like that. So we'll put these in an accessible place and we'll get going. All right, let's go ahead and start with our pranayama exercise. Go ahead and settle down into your seat. We'll take a few natural breaths in and out. And then intentionally shift down into a fuller, slower breath. We're going to take the breath in through our nose and gently out through our mouth. And our focus of our inhale is going to be to expand that diaphragm downwards as much as it will go. Keeping the neck relaxed. Let's add some movements to this. We'll bring our elbows in close to our sides. Breathe in, palms are up, thumbs are reaching towards the back wall. Exhale, palms down, let them come back together. The whole time the elbows are reaching down towards your hips. Continue those deep breaths, pulling the diaphragm down as deeply into the belly as you can. Let's change up the movement. We'll take our full arms open, really lift the heart and roll the shoulders back. Big inhale here. Exhale, round. Bring the palms down and forward. And then the next time your arms are up and open, take one arm up overhead. And our goal here for right now is going to be to stretch out the low waist, I want you to think about pressing the hip down and the low rib cage to the side. And now shift the stretch up. Think about lifting your armpit towards the ceiling and pulling your elbow back. And we'll switch sides. Start by pressing the hip down and the low rib out to the side. And I am using this hand over here to give a little bit of extra push. And then shift it up. Think about lifting the armpit up and the elbow back. And bring it down. We'll take the rib cage around in circles. Shoulders are going to stay pretty still on this one. They'll tip around a bit, but they're not circling, okay? They're staying right here, and the rib cage is doing the movement, so we're isolating the mid-spine. And circle the other direction. Excellent. Bring your heart up and forward. We're going to sway a little bit into our hips. If your hips are already warmed up for the day, maybe you just get down here and hang out for your deep stretch. But if they're cool like mine, we'll just warm them up. This is also a great way to get synovial fluids moving. It's helping to lubricate the joints. Excellent. Bring it on up. If your ankles are crossed, we're going to cross them the other way. Other one in front. Excellent. Roll back your shoulders. There we go. Really notice those spaces that feel extra sticky. Get into them. Bring your hands to your shoulders, and we're going to row as if we were rowing our boat. We'd be pushing the water back behind us, going for another scoop. And then circle the other direction. Reach it back. And let those arms come down. We're going to play with the rib cage again. We're going to do corners. So we're going to push the rib cage into that corner, that corner, that corner, that corner. Take it around. Again, the shoulders are staying in the same spot, even though they might tip a little bit. Take your corners the other direction. Notice the spots that feel a little sticky, and feel free to pause in them if you like. So I've got a sticky spot right here. I'm going to take just an extra moment to push my low rib cage into that corner. And then keep going. Perfect. Take the heart up and again, take it forward. And bring it on up. Okay, we're going to play with some isolations for the shoulder girdle. So I'm going to take off the sweater so you can see the shoulders a little bit better. And what I want you to do is, we played with those rolling the shoulders back. We're going to now imagine rolling the armpits forward. Okay, so you go from here, kind of a like, I don't know, an M shape, and we're going to turn it back. So feel that. I'm feeling some like definite grinding in there. It doesn't hurt, but I can tell that I'm not using this often enough. I'm not using this range of motion often enough, which means that my posture is probably not fantastic, which is probably why my shoulders have been hurting. So we're going to get into this position where we feel like our shoulder blades are really sitting in our back pockets. Yeah, I feel them kind of locked down, and I'm feeling my lats really engage here to pull my shoulder blades down. Okay, so we've got this. Now we're going to experiment with it. Pull the elbows in as close to you as you can. It's going to help stretch out the front here. We're going to bring our hands in front. Okay, now when we pull our hands back, it gets easier to hold in this position, right? But can we hold that position even when the arms come forward? Can we hold those shoulder blades back? So again, we'll open, and instead of just letting it release and come forward, can we hold that and let our hands come in front? Can we hold that and turn our palms down? One more if you're like, oh, I got it. Awesome. Hold it right there. If you're like, this is way too easy, try this next one. Can you reach your hands forward while continuing to feel this stretch and this engagement? Hands forward. How far can you take them before you lose it? And then pull them back. How far back can you pull the elbows without letting the tops of the shoulders point forward? Excellent. We're going to do all those moves again at the end of class and see if we've made any progress. All right, let's find a child's pose. Have your blocks handy. We're going to stretch out those lats. Here we go. Reach the arms away, reach the tail down towards the heels. Take in a few deep breaths, really filling in the rib cage. Our shoulder health starts right down there in the back, and we want it to be long and limber, have plenty of flexibility. Bring your torso forward over your hands. So we're in a kneeling plank. We're going to open those shoulders just like we did earlier. And I want you to make sure that your low belly is firm and slightly pulled in. So you're neither sagging or peaking. There is a slight round of the tail. But from that, I've got a long spine all the way up to my head. So I'm starting to feel this in the core holding me up, but I'm really focusing on these open shoulders, shoulder blades pulled down. Let's go back to child's pose. Bring it on up to plank again. And this time we're going to bring up a knee. I'm going to bring up my right knee. And then I'm going to bring up my right arm. My goal here is to rotate my spine, strengthen my upper back. Go ahead and let it come back down. We'll do it again. Take it at your own pace. Excellent. Bring it back to child's pose. For this child's pose, we're going to squeeze the sides of our head with our arms, elbows on the mat, palms together, pulling them back over our head. So really trying to reach your elbows as close together as to each other as possible, while getting your elbows as far away from your knees as possible. And let it go. Come back to your plank. Focusing on opening along the collarbones. Still have that tight core. Now our elbows, our elbow creases are facing forward. So if we're to bend our elbows go backwards, not wide. They're not locked out though, okay? I've got soft elbows for my hypermobile babies. We really want to make sure that we're using our muscles here and not bone on bone. We'll bring our left leg forward. So that means our left arm will reach up, squeezing those shoulder blades together behind your back and back down. And your supporting arm here has a good amount of pressure down. So I'm using these muscles and I'm pushing this hand down into the floor and towards the pinky finger to strengthen that shoulder. Now, bonus here, of course, is that fantastic hip stretch. Last one. And set it back. Child's pose, grab your blocks. You're going to set your elbows on the blocks. So I've got them separated about like this so my head can go right down the middle. And we'll start with the arms long. And just hang out here with your forehead down towards the mat. And then if you'd like to take it further, we've got our upper arms squeezing our head or the back of our head. Bend the elbows. Palms are together, thumbs reaching for the upper spine. And let it go. We're going to do some rocking planks. So if plank is very challenging for you, I want you to press these, let's see, go ahead and come to a kneeling plank on your elbows. We've got that open chest, tight tummy, and we're going to push back and forward. Actually, you know what? Let's all do it. Whether plank is easy or hard for you or not, I like the idea of the forehead getting to come all the way down to the mat. I'm even feeling a bit of a stretch through my pecs right now, which feels fantastic. All right, if you want a little bit more core, we can adjust this by removing the blocks. Now here's the trick. Don't let your elbows splay out when you go back. The blocks might have been kind of holding them because they're squishy, but holding your elbows in place. And without them, it's going to be harder to keep them from trying to go wide, but we want them to stay shoulder width apart. All right, let's give them a break. Go ahead and sit back on your shins. If your knees don't appreciate this, put a block under your tush. Give your knees a little bit more space. Ooh, let's go ahead and take it back to a little bit of a lat stretch. Tight core, one arm up and over. If you want more stretch and less engagement, put your other arm on the hand to support, or other hand on the floor to support you. But if you want to be engaging the core muscles and want to focus on strength, no hand. Or even two hands up here if you really want to work it. Bring it back to center. We'll take the other side. Option of stretch, option of deeper stretch, option of more core work. And let it go. Make your way on up to downward facing dog. Let's take some time to stretch out our feet. Good, roll through those toes. Press down the tops of the feet. Feel the heels and ankles open up. Excellent. Then let's think of lifting the tail. And take tiny steps forwards to your hands. Really small. Take your time. Feel each step. Hang out in and forward fold when you get there. And make your way on up to standing. We'll take our arms up overhead, shoulders down and back. I'm just going to step back into the camera slot here. Shoulders down and back. Remember those slots. Now, sometimes when we really want to pull our shoulders back, our belly ends up sticking forward to get out of the stretch. We're going to engage our core like we did on our planks to make sure that our spine is in neutral alignment. So when we reach back with our arms, we're getting that stretch through the shoulders. We'll bring the hands forward. Press down through the palms. So palms are together. And I want you to think of pressing the hands down so get a really deep wrist stretch here. And then the opposite, we're going to turn the back of the hands together and drop the elbows. I'm really having to focus on bringing my shoulder blades down so that I don't crunch in front around my collarbone. And let it go. Go ahead and roll out those hands. So we're going to do a little bit of balancing here. We're going to do a tree pose, but we're going to keep playing with these shoulders. So make it a tree pose that you feel very stable in. So maybe your foot comes out as a kickstand. Maybe it makes its way up. Whatever you can hold really comfortably so that we can focus on these shoulders. So we've got that balance right over our standing foot, whatever our other leg is doing to help us stay here is great. And we're going to, speaking of which, we're going to roll back those shoulders. Feel our lats engage back there, pulling our shoulder blades down. You can almost feel your armpits trying to show up in front. We'll take our palms up and our thumbs back. Take it forward and back, trying to keep that openness through the shoulders the entire time, not letting ourselves round forward. If this is not challenging enough, feel free to try it with your palms down. Ooh, that was really hard. Oh. Let it go. Whew. Go ahead and give everything a bit of a wiggle on that one. We'll play with the other side. Find your tree pose. And this time we're going to stretch our shoulders from the back. So get your tree. We're on our second leg now. And we'll bring the back of our hands to our low back. And I want you to think of dropping the shoulders and opening. So even though our arms are pinned here, I still have that feeling of trying to rotate my armpit to show it off in front. If this is not challenging enough for you, turn the palms down. And honestly, I'm really feeling this one. I can feel it pretty good. I'm going to show you the next one. It's going to stretch my range. You want to be sure that you're feeling the stretch in the upper arms and not a tweak in the elbow. If it's a tweak in the elbow, you've gone too far, come back a little bit. But the next one is palms together. and let it go. Head on back to the top of the mat if you moved away from it. We're going to play with some simple sun salutations. Take the arms up high overhead. While we're going through these, I encourage you to keep your awareness on the shoulders. Forward fold, half lift. You can do whatever half lift is right for you, but no matter where your hands are, you got the open collarbones. Exhale, come back down. Right leg steps back, low lunge. Long spine, engaged back, open chest. If you were to bend your elbows, they'd be pointing backwards. Step back to your plank. Take your version of vinyasa. So somehow you're going to get down to the floor, and somehow you're going to arch the back, and then make your way to downward facing dog. There are lots and lots of ways to do that vinyasa. You're always welcome to follow me, or welcome to make it more or less challenging for you. In this downward facing dog, I want you to think about your head being extra heavy. Armpits reaching towards the knees. Long, long neck. To keep the weight off of our wrists, we press down through every knuckle of every finger to help disperse the weight. Think about all that energy running straight through your shoulder blades and up to your tail. We'll come up high on our toes now. Slowly bring your right knee towards your chest and set the foot down between your hands. Sometimes that leg needs a little bit of help from your arm to get up there. It's just fine. Step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, come all the way up to standing, hands high overhead. Tight tummy to keep your spine in neutral. Hands to heart space. I'm going to step back into the camera so that our next arms up might have a little bit of heart lift. So from the navel down, I'm still very secure, very tight. I'm just lifting my rib cage up to the sky to lift my heart. And then exhale, forward fold again. Breathe in, half lift. Exhale, back down. Left leg steps back this time. Engaged back, open chest. Find your plank, might be from the knees. And your version of vinyasa. I'm going to do an easy one here. Knees down. Bring the belly all the way down to the floor. Lift on up. Feeling the back muscles lift the chest. And then press back to child's pose. Then downward facing dog. So that's just one option. Come up high on the balls of your feet. Bring the left knee forward and set it down between the hands. Forward fold. And bring it all the way up. We're going to take the hands down behind the back. Bring your feet about as wide as your shoulders. Pull your shoulders and hands down. Notice how that pushes my rib cage forward, but not my whole like belly and hips, okay? So rib cage does come forward a little bit because it kind of has to get out of the way of the arms, but mostly the arms are trying to stretch out and away from the ribs. Now soften your knees and let yourself round forward. The hands are going to reach to the sky, or maybe if you're quite flexible in the shoulders, maybe they reach towards the ground in front of you, way off towards that front wall. While this is a fantastic stretch for your shoulders, it's also a really, really needed one for keeping your upper back health. So my shoulders are pushing away from my ears. My hands are reaching as far up or forward as I can get them. And I'm letting my head be heavy. I do this one when I feel like I have a pop in my upper back that I can't quite get. This usually gets it. And let it go. Come all the way up slowly in case you get the dizzies. We'll take our arms overhead. And let it go. Have a seat. All right, we're gonna do a little more hip stretch here. Gomukhasana, or cow face pose, is traditionally done with one leg tucked under, one leg pulled over, and the knees resting on top of each other. So I want you to get to whatever version of that is accessible for you. And if you're like, no, none of that is really accessible for me, thank you, sit on a block. Okay, we're going to intentionally push down this buttock. And the arms for this are one arm over the top, reaching down the back, the other arm around back, reaching up, so that your hands are meeting behind your back. If your hands don't quite meet, that's okay. You can grab your shirt or grab a hand towel to help extend your arms, and you'll get there eventually. So once you've got these arms secured somehow, relax the neck. Think of drawing your ears towards the back wall a little bit. Soften the jaw and tongue. And let it go. We'll take the other side. Actually, you know what? While we're here, I lied. We're going to just stay here for a moment. We're going to take the right arm under the left and then bring those hands as close together as possible. Maybe they wrap around each other. I'm going to spin to the side so you can see this a little bit better. We're going to start by pulling the elbows down. And then the one that I'm always in need of is the hands going straight up. So notice that they're right over my elbows. If they're coming at my head, it's not going to give me the same stretch. I want hands right over elbows. Shoulder blades are reaching down. And that gives me this intense pull right across the traps. And let it go. We're going to switch legs. Take your time to get into the position. Make it one that you can sit tall in. So if you're like, ooh, I can do this one, but I look like this in it, it's not going to allow your shoulders a sturdy base for doing our neck stretches over. So instead, if you need to sit on that block so that now your torso can be upright. All right, so second side with this Gomukhasana, we'll take the second arm up and over, and the other one underneath. Relax the head and neck. Soften the tongue inside your mouth. And let it go. We'll take the left arm this time underneath the right. Start by pulling the elbows down. So my spine is still quite long. I'm not allowing these elbows to take my spine with them. And then straight up. And let it go. Roll those shoulders. Relax the neck. And then make your way down to the floor for Shavasana, our relaxation pose. If you would like to do your Shavasana continuing this openness, this stretching of the shoulders, you can take a block or something softer and put it right about bra strap line, right at the base of the shoulder blades, or maybe put it long ways up the spine, but right about the same area. That way when we're laying on our back, we have this openness across the chest. Palms come up and out. Just an option for your Shavasana today. If this is challenging for your low back, you can always bend your knees, maybe stick a bolster under there. But once you find your spot, I want you to think about being heavy. With every exhale, getting heavier and heavier. Let yourself melt down into the floor. Take in those deep breaths. Send the breath to anywhere that's feeling sticky. Soothe that stickiness with warmth and heaviness. Bring your awareness back to the room that you're in. And roll to the side. If you're on a prop, go ahead and slide it out from underneath if you know. Make your way on up to sitting. And I promised we'd do that check-in to see what our range of motion is now. So go ahead and roll those shoulders back. Palms up and open. Keep it open as we bring our arms forward. Palms down. Keeping the stretch across here. Take the arms forward. And relax. We'll bring our hands to heart space. Together we'll take a deep breath in and out. If you'd like to om along with me on the exhale, please do. Deep breath in. Thank you.